the third episode of IFL Gameday. I'm Alex Starr, and with me I have the Winnipeg Crusaders owner, Matthew Soper. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well.
Um,
I'm doing pretty well right now.
Start by breaking down this preseason we just had. Any teams that jump out at you?
Quite a few. So let's get started.
Let's. First of all, I want to talk about your Crusaders. To be honest, they didn't really impress me as much as I thought they would, but it is preseason, so you can make adjustments.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I'm not disappointed as much as I was last night. Looking back at it now, there's a lot of stuff we could do to fix our team, fix my team. So I'm not worried. It's not even the start of the season yet.
And likewise with my Hawks, we looked impressive in preseason, but there's still a lot of things that we can fix.
Right.
And if you guys want to get in here, I can provide the link for you, just so you know. Let me pop out the chat before I forget to do that. I always somehow forget to do that. I don't have any idea why. So Matt, you mind helping me fill the time while I get the chat up here?
What do you want me to do?
You mind helping me fill the time with your stuff?
Okay. Well, let me talk to you about the team that kind of impressed me. There was no team that disappointed me, but there were teams that impressed me the most. Well, let me talk to you about the team that kind of impressed me. There was no team that disappointed me, but
sorry guys, we're trying to get the link here. Dude.
Okay. I think one team that impressed me was the Tokyo Kasune. Honestly, I see them competing against. I really see them going to the playoffs.
Tokyo really impressed me, actually. Now that I think about it, that team I can see going to the playoffs. Same with Chicago.
Yeah.
I can totally see them.
Well, Chicago is also a good team as well.
Oh.
I mean, trying to remember who they face.
I'm trying to remember who they faced too in preseason. While we wait for Doug to pop in here, you mind giving me your predictions on the season? Like who do you think has the strongest schedule out of all the IFL, if you had to guess?
That's a tough one. Really, all the teams have balanced schedules, except for like one or two. But I can't really remember right now because I need to look at the schedule again just to make sure if I actually am right about those two. But I know for a fact that that a lot of the expansion teams this season need to show what they can do. And obviously the West Coast.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I'm interested in seeing how weather's going to affect the games.
Oh, that's going to be interesting too. Honestly, it doesn't affect us too much. It doesn't affect the Crusaders too much because we're playing in the dome. But
Right?
you still. But well, the same thing with the Kitsune. I think they played in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, they do.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out this season.
Yep, it's going to be really interesting. I might be calling a few games this year, just so you know.
That's good because I tried calling for games. I tried.
I know you
But
did. You did a decent, you did actually a really good job.
I work better I work better as a color commentator, to be honest. Like, I really work better if I'm with someone else. So,
I'm
it's
the same way. I can do play by play, but I want to have a color man there with me just so the dead air doesn't happen.
yeah, that happened to me a lot because I just didn't have much to say. Well, but I can't really blame myself. When the game started, it was during the time of night where the internet starts getting slow because I want to share bandwidth with a lot of
Yep.
people. So we're sharing this one tower, and I live near a school district, and a lot of kids want to use the internet. So yeah, it just
And if
creates a lot of
I'm
havoc.
playing games, you mind helping me out with color commentary?
I don't mind that actually. I actually quite enjoyed it, and despite that I wasn't really in the mood to do commentary at that point, I still quite enjoyed doing it. So yeah, it depends on what games you're doing.
I
So and depends on what I'm doing at the time.
I know for myself, I'm a very detailed oriented commentator. Like I will tell you literally where everybody's at and the direction they're going and the formation they're in and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and just to be honest, to be truly honest, football. I'm trying to figure out where all the plays is and such, but it's like, how could I see anything if the screen was so blurry? I tried, but it wasn't really anyone else's fault but mine because the internet was
Yeah,
just bad at the time. So,
yeah.
but I can I'm good at ad libbing sometimes. So I'm willing to give it another shot if someone else can actually cover most of the gameplay for me.
Would you
So
mind helping me out? I'm planning on calling a few games.
sure.
It's funny, both you and I want to talk about at Pain Factory on Slack. He actually said that he has some experience in the booth and would like to help me out too. So talk about it. Hey, Doug.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey,
We were just talking about we were just rambling on about the preseason games and our impressions and You mind giving us yours?
Oh, wow.
I know you've got your podcast tomorrow, but
Oh, yeah.
mind giving us yours anyway?
Well, I can tell you this much by checking out the games. I really don't want to spoil the game that just happened today between New York and Dallas. If you haven't watched that, watch it. I was like, wow.
I agree. If
Well,
you
I haven't
watched
seen
that
it, so don't
game,
spoil me
that
yet.
must see
So, yeah,
TV right there.
it's an interesting game. But I'll say, I know you guys mentioned Tokyo. They won 30-9 over Green Bay. So that was a pretty impressive win. The Denver-Detroit game, it was a classic case. Whoever got the ball last seemed like they were going to win that game, and that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
Arizona's the defending champs, and they showed why, in my opinion, doubling up Chicago 34-17. And let's not forget, Chicago's the team with the gold quarterback and 2 gold wide receivers and could only manage 17 total points. And not only that, were held to 233 passing yards.
Right.
So that's something that stood out there. I want to give kudos to Winnipeg. Even though they lost 26-12, they held San Diego to just 65 rushing yards, which is the worst for the week. I'm sorry, 57 rushing yards. I think I said that wrong. Either way, yeah, 57 rushing yards. It came in last of the preseason games. So San Diego had the worst rushing performance of the preseason. So kudos to Winnipeg for that. So the defense was there. You know, they just need to find a little bit of offense, and you know, that's the tweaks that can be made this week. So it'll be interesting what comes down. We had one team go over 500 yards total offense. That was Detroit. They had 533 yards, number 1 offense in the preseason. Denver, who they lost to, came in second with 499 yards. So I know Mark Chisholm's a little angry by missing the 500 mark by 1 yard. But there's a lot of things that have come out of this week, even though it's the preseason week, that just makes things very, very interesting for week 1. And like I said, week 1, when I look at the schedule, I sit here and I ask myself, what game am I going to be the most interested in? And I plan on getting this posted up tonight. I'm going to post the game of the week poll. I'm going to want people to vote. So we're going to get that up. But Tampa Bay and Boston is going to be a good game. Dallas, who showed a lot of life. Again, I'm not going to spoil it for those who didn't see it. They get to go to Baltimore. The Rhinos get another shot at the flight, and they are pretty much owned during the preseason game. The Nightmares and the Cobras are going to do battle. I'm very interested in that one. The Grizzlies, who were shut down, get to go to Winnipeg. Detroit plays Chicago. Again, the gold wide receivers, the gold quarterback go up against the generic corners of Detroit. Interesting game. The Yeti and the Bulldogs, and then the Outlaws versus Tokyo. And I heard you guys mention you were impressed with Tokyo. And again, Arizona played well, so they both played well. Now they get to take a shot at each other week 1. And Tokyo is the only team to get past Arizona so far in this league. So you can't count them out. It's going to be an exciting week 1. 8 huge games to see the direction in which this league takes. And right now, I can put my finger on at least 5-6 teams that I'm going to be willing to say I think they have a shot at the title just based off the preseason.
To me, this is going to be a defensive league this year, like it was last year.
Oh, it definitely could be.
Yeah.
I honestly think that my Detroit Hawks could have a shot at the title if everything goes right, but you never know.
Tighten up your defense. Case in point, giving up 499 yards. Same thing can be said to Denver. They gave up 533. If one of you 2 teams can tighten up your defense, you're going to put yourself right there in the mix.
That's what I was thinking, and I'm going to get with Heath McDaniel, my head coach, to discuss how we can do that.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It will be.
And Winnipeg's the exact opposite because Winnipeg's got to find their offense. Their defense looked pretty good.
Honestly, our defense did look good, but the offense was where were they?
Taking a nap.
No, they're playing on their Game Boys.
Is that what's going on?
And
Uh,
I'm
anyway.
interested to see what the offensive identity of Boston is.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah.
Because
Boston,
we know from last year that Boston did not have a offense really at all.
right.
Yeah.
Well, offensively in the preseason, like I said, it means nothing. They came in last in total offense. They came in
Right.
last in total passing yards, but they did come in sixth in rushing. So they have something positive to beat off of. So they clearly need to lean more on Ernie Clapper, and it could be the classic case of throw only if you have to. And there is a team we got in the league that does that philosophy. They run unless they have to pass. And do either of you know which team that is?
The Detroit Hawks.
My team.
No, the team I was referring to was Arizona.
Well, that was actually my second guess because Arizona was pretty good last season doing a lot of the running.
Right. And Philadelphia did the same thing last year. Both teams ran until they had to throw. If
Right.
Boston can find that philosophy, they could be dangerous because that defense was pretty good.
And it all depends on how you design your playbook, whether you're going to be successful or not.
Right.
Right. Now I have a question. Which team disappointed y'all the most? Like, which team y'all thought was going to be the contender? Could be a good team, but ultimately didn't do as well as you think.
I'm not sure on that one.
Well, I immediately go to two teams, and they're Chicago and Atlanta.
I haven't seen the East Coast team. I mean, haven't seen any of the Eastern, all the Atlantic Conference teams yet. I need to get to it. But honestly, the Green Bay Grizzlies didn't really impress me that much.
Yeah,
But
9 points rather.
we made more points than him. I just realized that than them actually.
Yeah, they had the lowest point total of the week. 9 points. And Green Bay, just so you guys are aware, since we have them up, only had 294 yards of offense, 205 in the air, and 89 on the ground. And I really thought Booger Lynch was going to have a bigger impact. Well, not Booger Lynch. I totally said the wrong name. Wow. Booger Lynch plays for Atlanta. But, yeah. Okay, let me gather my composure there because I'm laughing at myself. Kenny Cleveland is who I was referring to. I really thought he was going to have a good impact for them. But that's the thing I was going to say about Booger Lynch with Atlanta. Neither one of their running backs really did much, and I thought they were going to have pretty good games.
Yeah, you look at their builds, they seem to be a very run-heavy team as far as their builds. So you would expect them to be able to run the ball.
And Green Bay,
because in this league, if you don't have a running game or manufacture a running game to be balanced in any way, you're screwed.
Yeah, and see, Ed and I covered it on Inside the IFL. The build for Green Bay, how they have all their golds are defensive players. We were wondering if that would hurt their offensive output. They scored 9 points. And the defense, despite having 3 gold players, still gave up 30 points. Is that a reflection of a lack of offense? Or was there a lack of offense because the heavy build on defense didn't work? Remains to be seen, and we can all guess right now, but as the season progresses, we should be able to find the answer to that.
Right.
And there's one player I want to highlight really heavily from my team, not to be biased here, but Jack Dar was flying all over the place on defense.
Indeed.
I did not expect my gold outside linebacker to do that well.
Definitely anchored the defense.
Question is, did I find something that not everybody did, or was it just a good luck game, so to speak?
Could be both.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he'll be successful, and maybe he just happened to be overly successful in that game. But like I had said to you when you first presented that build, yeah, I did question the gold linebacker. I was like, And at the same time, I've seen T.J. Johnson use a gold linebacker to damn near perfection. So to me, it's the classic case of like a gold tight end. I think a gold tight end is one of the hardest offensive players to stop, but you got to know how to use it. I would not be surprised that the gold outside linebacker could fall under that same category. I mean, I'm a favorite to the gold strong safety. Maybe Detroit will make me change my mind before the end of the season. That gold outside linebacker is the way to go.
That's what I'm personally hoping, but again, I'm biased.
Ramos Lynn thinks Mookie Whitaker could be the defensive player of the year by the end of the season.
You're kidding.
Well, like Dar, Mookie was all over the place. So Mookie played well. And I'm sure Ramos would love that, because I'm sure that could get in the crawl of Arizona, because that was their second free safety last year.
Yeah. And I want to touch on the whole gold strong safety debate. Honestly, I think you're right that a team needs a gold strong safety to perform well. Depending on
Scheme
and stuff. Yeah. I was trying to think of the word. Sorry.
And by the way, Ramos dropped the knowledge. I forgot the number. Mookie Whitaker did have 3 interceptions in that game. So that's impressive.
Sorry, I didn't even have the chat up, so thank goodness one of you does.
I'm checking on and off just to see what's going on.
So, guys, any predictions for the season as far as like who's going to be a possible team that comes out of nowhere and surprises you, or a team that we all expect to get to the playoffs but might not?
Based off the preseason game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say it this way. Well, you're bringing it up. I don't know if it's a reflection of the defenses that they played, or the offenses are that good, or it's a reflection of the both. But I'm going to give it to Denver and Detroit. They played each other 40-37. Both teams basically had 500 yards of total offense. I mean, they combined for 1,032. That's ridiculous. And 87 points. I personally didn't think, and I mentioned this on Inside the IFL, because of the generic corners, I didn't think Detroit could do too well as a whole. Now, Denver had 326 passing yards. So when you think about, when I say 326, I had to go look. Denver had the 5th best passing output of the week for the preseason. So it's not too bad. The team that was ahead of them was San Diego at 333. And the top 3 teams were 380 yards or more. So there's a big gap there of like 50 yards. So not too bad. And Tampa Bay, by the way, at 254 and 6th. So Denver was way ahead of them from 5th to 6th. Excuse me. So at the end of the day, when you have generic corners, that's not too bad a number to have against your pass defense. So if Dar can live up to what he did the first game and continue to play like that, I think that Detroit could possibly make him more of a noise than I thought. Lincoln Fox has clearly got to get more pressure. And James Smith played well at the free safety spot. So I'm thinking between Smith and Dar, they got to put shit on lockdown with Fox getting pressure to take pressure off those corners. And we'll see what happens. But as far as Denver goes, like I said, it was pretty clear when you watched the game how they were played and what they did. I mean, they had the number 2 overall offense after the preseason. Denver also had, like I said, 5th in passing. Their running game came in 3rd. So they have a mixed offense right now. Because clearly with the gold quarterback in Corey Linton and the gold running back in Chad Brock, they're able to go anywhere, and then they double down at receiver at the silver level. So they're a very balanced team. So when you prepare for them, they can hit you in any direction. And that could create problems. And that was the one thing I was wondering when we talked in the offseason, what they could or couldn't do. I put my stock in Arizona until I'm proven different. Then I was willing to go with Tokyo. And when you looked at my playoffs, I predicted Denver to get to the Victory Bowl and lose to Baltimore. And what I saw out of them in that game, I still thought they needed to put out more offense because they were going against generic corners. The defense needs to tighten up. But one of those 2 teams could be a real serious factor all season, if not both.
Matt, you have any thoughts on that?
Honestly, I do agree.
And I'll be right back.
I think, honestly, I actually put down, like, which team will impress you the most. I actually did vote for Alex Darr's team, the Detroit Hawks, because they actually probably would be the team to the underdog team this season. And they had a pretty close game. It was pretty close. So,
Sorry, I had to mute myself for a second because I had to talk to my mom, but
that's fine.
go ahead.
The team that I see going to the Victory Bowl is not really Denver, but more or less either Tokyo or Arizona. And I'm placing my money on Arizona. It's going to be a repeat from last season.
I'm curious with Arizona if anybody can figure them out, to be honest.
Well,
what's the magic formula? Because nobody figured it out last year, so.
Honestly, that's the whole fun thing about it. You got to figure it out. You can't just throw random things in there and just toss it onto the field. You gotta think about it. You actually got to think about it.
And you got a game plan or based on the tape that's given to you and stuff, and that's what I like about this league is we actually have tape going into the actual season itself because we have a preseason.
Right.
Versus versus going in blind and not really knowing what to expect.
Well, I actually really like that. I mean, it helps everyone get a feel of what the other team will do. So it's not going to be the same old thing. Honestly,
Right.
well, I was going to say, like, if Tokyo, if I have a question. What do you think? Who do you think? Who do you think is going to be the most underrated team this season? And what do you
The
think is
most
going to be the most?
underrated team, biasedly, I would go my Detroit Hawks. Unbiasedly, I would go probably the Philadelphia Flight.
Actually, I put Boston Liberty. I mean, just case in point, I'm putting them as I'm putting bias on my.
Doesn't really have an offense.
Yeah, but you can still make something out of your defense.
True.
I mean, you can't always have offense without the defense, and you can't have defense without the offense. And pretty
True.
much you need to find a balance for it, and they'll figure it out eventually.
True.
Like right now, I got to figure out what's the best course to take with our offense, the Crusaders.
And I've got to figure out how to get more pressure from my defensive line and stuff. And I think if I get more pressure from the D line, I'm golden.
Honestly, we just need honestly, for us, just getting the ball down the field in order to score a touchdown will make us happy. Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, as Doug just posted the Game of the Week voting on Slack, make sure to vote if you're listening to this.
I'm looking at it now.
If you had to predict who's going to be the Game of the Week,
All right, I am back. As you just mentioned it, I posted that. That's what I was doing. So yes.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Doug.
Game of the week. I heard your question. Who do I think will end up getting voted Game of the Week?
Yep.
I believe it'll be Arizona. Voted. I think it's going to be Arizona Tokyo just because people will have interest in Tokyo being the only team to beat them.
That's what I voted.
Agree. I'm really interested in that matchup as well.
That's who I voted too. So
now I'll let everybody know, even though we do this Game of the Week voting, and honestly, at the end of the day, it really doesn't mean much as far as how it's going to affect the games. The only thing it really does is when it's going to be aired. And we try to put it at the most convenient day and time, which is normally more in the evening on Saturdays when people want to watch it, as opposed to mid-afternoon Friday or whatever. But that being said, if and when I can get my equipment up to date, get everything in order, like I said, I ran a lag test again today. A couple people were in there, and they said it ran a lot smoother. Alex, you were there. You said you saw no issues, which is great. I think I got everything figured out. I had my megabytes per second way too high, and I just gave everything a nice little reboot and reset from the computer to the modem, the whole 9 yards. So I think I'm good to go. But once I get a headset and I get it plugged in, I get it working, the Game of the Week will be the game that I personally would be calling myself. That's
gotcha. I figured that.
Yeah.
But we're still going with the Game of the Week feel. This way we know, what teams are getting the most hype, the most interest in what people think. And, yeah. Now, I would be using the little icons, by the way, like I used last year. But I didn't get everything from Kyle Walsh yet. In fact, I don't even think he was able to get started on it, or if he even got my message about it. Because with him losing his mother, they went through the hurricane. He's got far too much on his plate for him to even be bothered right now. So our only images we got are black backgrounds, so it makes it very hard to see the logo. So I just wrote the names out.
And my plan as far as the game that I possibly could be calling, I'm going to call the game with the second most votes.
All right.
That's going to be the Saturday Showcase.
I'm looking at the pick'em for week 1. I'll just go through these really, really quick so guys have an idea of where a lot of people are thinking. And a lot of people haven't voted yet. But the Stallions are leading Boston 15-12. I'm curious as how people may change their mind because you can easily go in there and unclick your pick and go somewhere else after watching preseason.
Yep.
Buffalo's up on Dallas 23-4. I can see Dallas getting a few more votes
You
after
mean
this.
New York?
No, Dallas. Baltimore's playing Dallas in week 1.
Yeah.
You said Buffalo.
I don't know. Yeah, Baltimore and Dallas. Okay. Philadelphia's up on Atlanta 18-9. New York's up on Nashville 20-7. Green Bay leads Winnipeg 16-11. Chicago's over Detroit 21-6. Denver's up 14-13 on San Diego, and Arizona's up 15-13 on Tokyo. So once we have a preseason game out the way, these predictions may or may not change. People may or may not change their mind. And I know, Alex, you had mentioned to me about the idea of the power rankings. I know you want to do like your own little form of quote unquote power rankings types deal. Like I said, that's cool. I don't know what you want to call it, but we are going to have the power rankings for the league. And I know Ed and I are doing a podcast tomorrow. That's the plan. It's probably going to be 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock area. I'm not exactly sure. My guess is going to be
In
more
fact,
like.
I'm planning to call it the IFL straw poll.
Okay. So
Okay.
I'm going to be posting that here in a moment on Slack, where I'm going to ask everybody, if you want to partake in the power rankings, send me your power rankings predictions before the podcast tomorrow, because then I'll tally them all up and we'll see what people think. So I'm going to actually type that up now for the people not listening to the podcast.
It'll be interesting what people think.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally have a few ideas, but one thing's for sure, you never know with this game. Upsets can happen. A team can totally look like crap after balling out in the preseason. You never know.
Right. It's just, I'd like to say it's just fate, but it's like, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen during week 9 or 10. Honestly, no one will know until we get there.
But if you had to do your early playoff predictions, who do you have coming out of each division?
Okay. Each
And you can
division?
start with whatever division you want.
Okay. Let's say we get 2 teams from each division going to the playoffs. I don't know how the playoffs are going to work, but
I can tell you.
okay, tell me.
The 2 division winners, obviously. That's self-explanatory. And then it does not matter what division they are in. The next 2 best records in each conference will get in. So 3 teams out of 1 division can get in.
Ew. Okay. Well, you already know how I feel about Tokyo Kitsune and my brain died. Oh, Arizona Outlaws. I kind of want to be biased here and say my team will make it in the playoffs, just squeezing by. Maybe just barely making it. Can't really blame me.
Right.
Now, the Atlantic Conference, that's a different question. I really have not seen any of the Atlantic Conference games, but just seeing from what I've heard, I honestly have to say the Baltimore Bulls.
And honestly, if I had to tell you, I think the Pacific Conference is going to be wide open, but the Atlantic Conference is probably going to be the most competitive out of the 2.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's going to be. That's no lie. 1 second.
What's your opinion on that, Doug?
All right. Well, on Inside the IFL, I gave the following predictions. I had stated that Dallas and Baltimore were going to win their divisions, and then
Sorry
I said,
about that.
And then I said, so I had Dallas and Baltimore winning their divisions in the Atlantic, with Tampa Bay and Philadelphia getting wild card spots. I had Tampa Bay beating Dallas in the opening round and Philadelphia. I'm sorry, I had Dallas. Yeah, Dallas beating Tampa Bay, and I had Baltimore beating Philadelphia. And then in the Atlantic Conference Championship, I had Baltimore beating Dallas, thus putting Baltimore in the Victory Bowl. And the Pacific Conference, I had San Diego losing to Arizona, who won the division, and Denver, who came in second and was a wild card, beating the Northern Conference winner, Winnipeg. That's right, I picked Winnipeg to win the North. And then I had Denver. Then I had Denver upsetting Arizona in the Pacific title game. And then I had Baltimore defeating Denver to win the Victory Bowl. That was my predictions I had made on Inside the IFL last week.
Would you
Wow.
change them knowing what happened in the preseason?
If I take everything I just said based off the preseason, it's going to sound mean, but Winnipeg's coming out of that spot real quick. And I don't know where I'd go in the North, to be quite honest. As my children are fighting. Really in my house. But in the North, like I said, Green Bay just shit the bed. Chicago ran into the defending champions. I don't know what to take from that. Winnipeg had their offensive struggles. And like I said, Detroit did a lot of damage, but they took a lot of damage. So I don't know what to make of them either. So if you were to put a gun to my head and say, pick a team from the North already or die, plan my funeral. Because I don't know where I'd go. I'd have no idea where to go at this point with the North. I really wouldn't. But one thing I do know, based off everything that I've seen, is I still firmly believe 3 teams will come out of the West Division and make the playoffs. I'm really convinced that. I think the only way you get in the playoffs out of the North is to win the division.
Yeah, I honestly agree with that. So it's going to be an interesting battle up north. I mean, you don't know what's... I mean, honestly, we all have strengths and weaknesses up there.
And plus, you've got the elements playing into it, too. Later on in the season when we have snow games and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not much of a big deal for us because we play in the dome, but, like, for other... Like, we're going to have to face the elements, like, when we face everyone else. So that's going to be an interesting challenge for us.
As you're used to the nice, warm climate of the dome.
Yeah, it's warm and cozy.
Maybe that was a bad decision. Maybe it was a bad decision for the Winnipeg family to pick a dome. Speaking of dome, my Raiders will be in a dome in a year or two. So, yes. Yeah. As we are only up 10-7 over the New York Giants.
Genos. Is it sad to say I used to be a Giants fan now?
What's that?
Is it sad to say I used to be a Giants fan? I have Giants Cubs, New York Giants Cubs in my house. I mean, I used to be a big fan.
I have nothing against the Giants.
I'm a Lions fan, so we've got nothing to play for every year, so I don't really give a crap.
He doesn't give a crap. Wow.
Okay. Congratulations.
Zero craps given. We got it. Oh, man. All right, so here's a fun question. I'll give it to both of you. Everybody likes to say, make your prediction. Who's going to win the championship?
I'm
not even asking that question. I don't want to ask that question because that's the question everybody asks. I want to flip the script. Who's going to finish dead last?
Oh.
It's going to be
Green Bay. Green Bay.
He said it's going to be Boston. Wow. I don't know about that.
Honestly, it's going to be a toss-up between me. Like, if I'm going to pick from each division, I'm still placing bets on Tampa Bay going on last place in the Atlantic Conference. But, like, in the Pacific, Green Bay. I
Wow.
mean, that's just my
What?
pick.
Are you high or something?
Maybe.
I mean, everybody in the division predictions channel or whatever you call it was picking Green Bay to win the division.
Yeah.
Well, that's just
So I'm curious.
That's just one man's
what your
opinion.
thought process is there.
This is just one man's opinion who still has a YouTube channel that got a copyright strike recently. So it's going to be a toss-up.
Right. And that's what I love about this. I could sit here and say this team's going to win the division, and one of you could say they're going to finish dead last. It's all opinion right now. You know, 'cause we really have no idea yet. Mm-hmm.
So who in the world do you think is gonna? I know I said this earlier, but I want to ask the chat: what teams do you think would surprise you? Are gonna surprise you?
Well, that's just it. I think the teams that I think are going to be good are going to be good. And I think the teams that I think are going to be mid-teams will be mid-teams. You know, like I said, the only team that really, really stands out to me will be your own team there, Alex. Because Detroit, like I said, I have Detroit wrote down before the season started when I looked at the division. And I'll be honest with you here completely. I said, all right, let me really look at this North Division. Chicago's Johnny LaRusso, Tyrone Goodspeed, Macho Fall, all gold, 2 receivers, the gold quarterback. I was like, that's going to be tough to beat, especially when you had no corners at all. And Winnipeg's got a silver and a bronze corner. And then Green Bay's got a bronze and a gold corner. So I was like, okay, Green Bay's got the best shot at stopping this offense. So now let me look and see what Green Bay's got. Well, Green Bay's loaded up on defense and has no offense to speak of, in my opinion, because I think you need to have at least something on offense at the goal level. So that hurt their chances.
You know, I gotta get off here in a bit.
Yeah.
Because I gotta eat. So.
Right. So that's why I went with Chicago to win this division originally. But then I went to Winnipeg because of the strong safety, because of the quarterback running back combination at gold, the double wide receivers silver. I'm still going to stick by Winnipeg, even though they struggled in the play and in the preseason.
Right.
Green Bay having a hard season. I can agree with you guys on that one. We'll see. Chicago's got to find their offense, or was it a reflection of Arizona defense, who we all know was one of the best defenses last year? Could that be a reflection of it? And then, like I said, Detroit, find some defense because you somehow found a whole hell of a lot of offense. I'd like to see Johnny Frost get a little bit more involved, have him pound the rock with Northrop to wear down defenses. Like I said, Darr did his thing. Smith's done his thing. If I'm you and Heath McDaniel, I figure out distinctly right now how to get pressure with Fox. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then I think we're good. And I get Johnny Frost involved in the offense. I think that's what I would do. You know, if I'm not you guys, so I don't know what to do. So to me, the Detroit Hawks are the team that I think may surprise me the most.
This is going to be a fun season, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be ridiculous. You know, and like I said, we're going to cover a lot of this stuff again tomorrow because 1 p.m. Eastern is the planned time for the Inside the IFL podcast with myself and Ed Ritter. So,
hey, can I join?
Whoever's online,
can I join on that too?
Yeah, if anybody's online and they want to get in on the show when we go live, just hit me up on Slack. Let me know you're there, and we'll try to get everybody involved. Because tomorrow's the big show where we actually want to get as many people involved as possible.
Great.
So, difference of opinions, thoughts. I'd love to have owners show up, coaches. That's going to be good.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. And like I said, I was really bummed the other day because I didn't know what was going on with my streaming. I think we got it figured out today. Nobody's seen any issues with it. Mark Chisholm, who owns Denver, is trying to help us out. So he's probably going to be stepping up, maybe covering a game or two each week. We still got to get taken care of the particulars on that. So if all goes well, we have at least 3 streamers now as opposed to 2. And we have 3 decent streams as opposed to just 1, which was 24 hours ago, our situation. So things have taken a nice turn for the better. So again, if anybody else has the Xbox, they got USB cards to download the rosters, got the game, got a good connection.
I do.
They got the Elgato because that's like to me the best capture card there is. And you're interested in doing games, let me know. We'll try to get with you and get all the settings right, like we did today with Mr. Chisholm. And it's going to be fun. And don't forget to send me power rankings. Don't forget to vote for the game of the week. There's a lot of stuff going on. Friday's just around the corner. And we already got 4 votes for that Arizona game. And 2 votes for Nashville and the Cobras. I expect the voting to go through the roof here shortly. And by all means also, guys, I know some of you log in and out of Slack and don't really chat. Every once in a while, say, hey, how you doing? Let guys know you're still around. Yes. And hopefully I can get rid of this cough because I know you guys can hear it in my voice. Alex got very quiet.
I'm just sorry. I'm just thinking right now.
Oh,
I may have to get off here soon. Actually. But Doug, you don't mind if I talk to you on Slack in a few? I wanted to ask you a question. Oh. Crap.
Well, it appears you got to go. It appears Alex needed to take off. So that might be the time where he needs to end the show.
Oh, I thought you were gone. This was about to be my show now.
No, I had to step away from it. I'm dealing with my kids.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I think I'm about to have a pure 6 brawl over here. I think my daughters are about to start beating the hell out of each other.
Ugh. That's gonna be fun.
I myself might have to jump off of here so I can go deal with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys bringing me on. But yeah, I'm definitely going to jump off and I'll listen to the rest of the show, whatever you guys got going on. So, all right, thanks, guys.
See ya.
We can get going.
You there?
So, yeah. So, Matthew, you have any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
This is going to be a wild ride. I mean, honestly, I don't have any other thoughts to say other than it's going to be crazy this season. So, thank you for letting me join.
Thank you for co-hosting with me, and thanks to Doug Boas as well for taking over the show when I was gone. This has been IFL Game Day. Peace out.